Hi, welcome back to the website. Um, we've created our master page, we've created our menu, and we've tried to make everything look a little bit slick. So I think it's time to actually have some fun with the database, and this is the kind of most scary part for many people. People get scared when it comes to designing database, or connecting database to your. Actually, when I was in the university, this is the only thing that scares students when they when they have to. The only time we run around is when we have to connect our database to our website to make sure that they can talk to each other, because in the past, oh my god, life was very much difficult. But thanks to Microsoft and Visual Web Developer Express, everything has been so integrated together that you just have to drag and drop controls onto the website, which I'm going to show you. So now I'm going to stop talking, and I'm going to start doing. So let me show you how to. Remember, we have a section here where we want to display the current news. This is going to be the news that the web administrator wants the people, the users, to see when they come, latest news, or current current versions of what is software. Anyway, so what we do is add new item, and this time I want to add a SQL Server database. Usually I leave it as database.mdf. If you want to change it, you can change the name to your database name and just add it. Now it gives you a simple warning. You are attempting to add a special file type database to an ASP.NET website. In general, to use this type of item in your site, you should place it in the app_data folder. Do you want to place it in the, well, just say yes, of course, why not? You say we should place it there. Now you're asking if you want to place it in there. Yes, we want to. So it's doing its things. We have to wait, and we'll be good to go very soon. Okay, as you can see, it's switched itself to the Database Explorer. But if you notice my mouse, you can see that there's a crosshair, red crosshair, which means the database is not connected. What do we do? Right click. Oh, if you click refresh, it's gonna go. As you can see, it's already connected itself. Do we have any table? We don't have any table. We don't have any database diagram or views or stored procedures or function or synonyms or types or assemblies. These are all the things that we're going to be covering in the advanced videos, but that will be later down the line. But you can be sure we do it. So we need tables in our database, so let's add our first table. Add a new table. Say we want to create a news table. We want to create a news table. So what do we need in the news? We want the news title, the news description. Very simple. That's all we want. I just want a very simple database for now. So we want news title, the data type. This data type I'm going to choose nvarchar. We'll talk about that. I've promised we'll talk about everything anyway, because this is a quick start guide. You don't have to go deeper. Well, what this 50 means is it's only going to accept 50 characters. So because it's a title of your news, I'm not expecting to be longer than 50 characters. So let's choose 50 characters. Allow nulls. That means, do you want this field to be empty? No, of course, every news must have a title, don't you think? And news description, or I can say news body. Yeah, that's better. News body. Do not put empty space. It's not ideal. And I want that to be, for now, I'll just choose it to be nvarchar max. That means I can write as long news as I want, and I don't want it to be null as well. If you've done database before, you can you definitely understand what primary key means. I can say this as a primary key. If you don't understand what that means, we will talk about it. I'm not gonna be safe for. I don't want to allow nulls. Sorry, I forgot. I don't want to. It's asking me if I want to allow nulls. That means I should untick it because I don't want to allow nulls because I want the field to be filled in. So because this is a primary key, I also want to set it as the identity. If this doesn't make sense to you, don't worry, it will. It's identity. Let me remove the primary key first. There, I've made a mistake. The mistake I've made is news ID will be it will not allow me to make it because it has to be an integer. It has to be an int. The news ID, then the news title. What the news ID does is news body. I will explain myself. This is Max and this is 50. What the news ID does is, say for example you want to this is the identity. This identity, yes, and make this the primary key. You can have news 1, news number 2, news number 3, so you can reference your news by ID. So you can look for news number 50. You know, you can actually display the number on your news. You can say this is number 1, number 2, so you actually increase them. So, and this is where you do the increment. You can set the seed. The seed means you can start your news at 100 and you can make them increase by 2. So the seed is the first number. So if you create the first news, it's going to be news 100. If you create the second news, it's going to be news 102 because the increment is 2. Then 100, 102, 104. If you set the seed to 1000 and you set the increment to 100, so your first needs to be 1000, second will be 1000 to 1100, then 1200. You get the point. You're very smart, I know. Anyway, so this is the part. So I'm just going to leave this one as default. 1, it starts at 1 and the increment is going to be 1. So we have news 1, news 2, 3, and that's it really. So the news body is going to be the maximum, so you can write as much as you want. The news title will be 50 characters long. This is the news ID. It's going to be an integer. It's going to be the identity to identify it, and it's going to be the primary key. All those things will be explained when I'm doing the SQL Server database tutorials. So let's pretend that we want to close it. It's going to ask us, do you want to save changes to table 1? You say yes. Now you can give it name as news table. So if you say OK, you can see that your table will be shown here. Now you have one table with 3 columns: news ID, news title, and news body. So now we have one table in our database.